Right, hopefully you guys can hear me and see me this time round. YouTube is a messed up. I know some of you I can see the chats coming through on the previous live, but I couldn't say anything and there was no image going out. So hopefully you guys can hear me, see me. Hopefully you found a new link to this live. So welcome to another live, and I mean another live, 2 on a Sunday. And hopefully you've had a good week so far. So let me just check a few bits and pieces. Okay, that seems to be going out properly, and it seems to be going out live now. So hopefully you guys can actually hear me and see me. Just put it in the chat if you can. If you guys can hear me and see me. I've got a few yeses. Just give me 1 second. Right, that way I can see that's going up the TV behind me. Right, so apologies for the non-start, but like I said, that was a YouTube thing. That wasn't me. I'd done the tech check early this morning. Everything was working. As soon as I went live, everything went blank and froze up. But I could see the comments coming through. But as I said, I couldn't respond with the microphone or any pictures going out. But anyway, we are live. I didn't want to miss out, so I'll just set up another one quickly. Celestial High from Wales. Welcome. I've not seen your name before, unless you've been a silent watcher. So welcome to you if you're new. Desiree, welcome. Xbox Gaming TV, welcome. You was a silent listener. 50 out of 50. The magical 50. Well done to you. Congrats. And thank you for breaking your silence. 60 out of 75. Wow, that's a high. No problem. Congratulations on passing. If you're still here, let me know what you are going to do next. Are you looking to book driving lessons or looking to take a driving test? You may be taking lessons already. Freddie, hello. Can't pronounce that, but I'm assuming yes, you can hear me, but welcome. I've not seen your name before, that's for sure. I roll morning. Hello and welcome. Hello. Another silent follower. Glad you're breaking your silence to say hello. Sunshine, Austin, like that, sunshine. Welcome. Welcome. Sandra, welcome to you. I am okay, just a bit stressed from this morning. Trying to go out live this weekend. Right, if you've got any questions, put it in the chat. Let me answer it, clear it up, send you in there nice and confident up for the weekend. Blessings, welcome. Okay, you saying I can. So I'm seeing you guys say you can hear me and see me. Blessing is new. Welcome. And man, welcome. Annette says you can hear. Right. If you guys have got any questions, Portia, welcome to you. Hopefully you're well. Catherine, welcome. No, you haven't missed out. There's just a technical issue. Right. If you guys got any questions, please put it in the chat, but please put a Q, semicolon. It should look like this as your question. Otherwise, it looks like a comment, so I may miss it. Past my theory says 43 out of 50, 61. The high has a perception. Just about got the questions. I would suggest, I say this to all my pupils who score around the 43 mark. Take a look at the categories that you got the questions wrong in. So obviously you got 7 questions wrong. The reason being you may need those questions or something similar for your driving lesson or driving test, especially if it's road signs and road markings, if you picked up a few in that. So just go over some of the categories that you got wrong. So when you enter your driving lessons, at least that knowledge is going to be stronger than what it was when you passed. Because the last thing you want to do is be parked up at the side of the road to discuss something that you've already passed on, if that makes sense. First time being on live. Okay, so welcome first and foremost from Birmingham, and you got your test on 5th of March, which I believe is some point next week. I think next week Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. Again, well, you got another Sunday, that's for sure. In between now and then. If you've got any questions, pull it in, let me answer it, clear it up. You're on the live. Contact me now. Talk to me now. You're on the live. Why send out a contact when you can talk to me now live? Get your questions answered. But if you don't want to do that, it's email info@drivingtheoryuk.com. So it's info@drivingtheoryuk.com. But as I said, I'm here now live, so ask your questions away. Yeah, that's the issue. Game of TV, unfortunately, it's the waiting time. Everyone's doing it now, but it's worth a try if you are ready for your test. Monday mornings, i.e. tomorrow, the DVSA release new test dates every Monday morning at 6 a.m. I would log on for about 5 to 6 and then see if you can grab any that's in your area when they come live. You may need to do it for a few Mondays, or it may not work on the first Monday, because like I said, everybody's now wise to that. So just jump on the Monday morning, and when they release it at 6 o'clock, hopefully your fingers fast enough to book one, reserve one, and then you've got 15 minutes to log it and pay for it, basically. Uh, 46 out of 50, well done, and 68 out of 75. Wow, that's really, really high. Well done to you. Let me know what your next steps are. My driving instructor told me about you. Wow, that's interesting. What area are you taking lessons? It's nice to be recommended by a driving instructor, my fellow colleagues. What area are you taking driving lessons in? All right, Diana, hello and welcome. Caroline, long time no see. And you passed your theory test. About time too, but congratulations. And thank you for letting me know. Appreciate that. 67, you guys are scoring high on the hazard perceptions. Right, let me do the overview first and foremost. 49 out of 50, just missed the magical 50 by 1. Another 58 out of 70. Well done to you. 75. Right, keep the comments coming. Any questions, please type it in. Let me just do a quick overview. So the theory test is 50 questions. If you don't know or didn't know or unaware, your 50 questions is made up of categories. On the theory test or the apps, they got 14 categories to choose from, and your 50 questions is made up of those 14 categories. If you watch my videos enough, you'll know that I'm a big fan of studying the categories and then moving on to mock test. But you have to do you. So the categories, the questions are drawn from the categories. So for example, and I'll show you at the end of this demonstration when we do the 20 question mock test, you may get 5 road signs, 2 vulnerable road users, 3 motorway questions. That's the reason why you need to be really understanding all the categories, because you don't know how it's going to be made up. I will add a sampled question. Some of you are still emailing me. I went for my test, I failed it, I saw questions I've never seen before, and you're surprised by that. You will see questions you have never seen before, because the apps are sampled questions, not the real questions. They're sampled questions. So the questions will be worded differently in some cases, in most cases, and it's going to be some questions that you have never, ever seen before. But the answer they're looking for is still going to be the same in terms of safety. The time that you have to take those 50 questions is 57 minutes. You need 43 to pass. You can flag if you are using the apps and flagging on the apps. It's no different. If you're using driving test success, The real test is not much different from the app itself, where you can flag, go back and change your answers if you need to change it. I will add as well, the test is random. So if there's 10 of you in the room, it's 10 different tests. It's not one test for everybody. It's random questions. So you don't know what questions you're going to get. You don't know how it's going to be made up in terms of the categories. Once you've done that, you move on to the hazard perception, which is 14 videos. 13 of them are single hazards, score maximum of 5. One of them's double, where you score 10, 2 5s. The videos last between 45 seconds to a minute each. You can't rewind it. It's one go only. And then obviously you need 44 out of 75 to pass that. You need to pass both parts same day, same time. Once you push end on the hazard perception, it starts to print the paperwork. By the time you go to the desk, they confirm who you are. They should give you the paperwork face down. And then obviously as you're walking out, you turn it over. It should say congratulations under your name. If it says congratulations, you know you've passed it. If it doesn't, it says sorry to say, then you know you failed it. They will give you a breakdown of the categories you got the questions wrong in. That's where you want to start, by checking those categories and then restudying those categories, doing mock tests to make sure those categories do not come up on your mock test. So otherwise this shows there's still a weakness. And you're looking for a safe outcome in terms of your answer. If it's not safe, then it's going to lead to a controlled outcome, which is normally your first aid and your motorway questions. But ideally, you're looking for a safe outcome. If your answer doesn't lead to safety, it's going to be wrong, full stop. So that's the overview. Let me just catch up with you guys on the comments. And then we'll start the 20 question mock test. I will do a hazard perception demo because I'm still getting emails that you guys are failing with that. No problem. Yutunde, you joined a couple of weeks ago and the videos helped you. Congratulations on passing. Thank you for turning up and letting me know how you got on. If you're still here, please let me know what your next steps are. Driving lessons, I'm going to put my phone on silent. Otherwise, it's going to be ping, 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 ping. Yeah, let me know what your next steps are in terms of taking driving lessons or a driving test. Another silent follower. Again, 46 out of 50, 63 out of 75. With the guys getting all 60s on the real tests on the hazard perception, that's a great score. Normally about 52, 55 is about average. If you're scoring 63 on the hazard perception on the real test with the nerves going, that's really, really good score. So congrats. 43, just about. Again, double check the categories you got the questions wrong in. Congratulations on passing first and foremost. Got to pat yourself in the back for that. But just double check the categories you got the questions wrong in, because again, you need that information for your driving lessons and driving test. So my dyslexia is mild, lucky enough, but obviously I'm a lot older than you are, so I've found a way how to deal with that. So hopefully you have as well. Hopefully it's not too bad. Test is on Friday. Gift Asia. Hopefully that goes well for you. Come back next week. Let us know how you got on. Another one, fellow dyslexia sufferer. Right, you're just saying you're finding it hard to find ways to understand the theory itself. You're not saying that's related to dyslexia. The dyslexia and understanding is slightly two different things. So you got to be careful with what you're saying with that. If it is if it's because of the dyslexia is making you struggle to understand, then use voiceover, use headphones. Because sometimes when I'm teaching students with learning disabilities, having the questions read to you makes life a lot easier. If it's not the dyslexia that's making it hard to understand, then there's nothing wrong with, and we had this conversation as well last week in the boot camp, I think it was. Google the answer, Google the words. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not. You remember, you're studying at home. This is for all of you. You're studying at home, and some of you just get the question wrong, memorize the answers, and then move on. Sometimes it's worth jumping onto Google and finding out exactly what they are talking about, exactly what it means. Remember, whatever you have to do at home to study, then do it. It's not cheating. You got AI out there, Chat GPT, type the questions in there and see how they explain it or ask for an explanation. Remember, for me personally, it's about understanding the question. Because if you understand the question, then the answer is slightly easier. So don't be afraid to Google answers or use AI. Francisca, well, sorry to say that you heard that you failed first and foremost last week. Again, I'm not a big fan by saying that failed last week by 2 questions, which suggests you got 41. In that case, you got 9 questions wrong. That's how you have to look at it. You got 9 questions wrong. You didn't miss it by 2. You needed 2 to pass, but you got 9 questions wrong. The question you want to ask is, how come you got 9 questions wrong? I would study the categories they told you got the questions wrong in. If you got 41, that would suggest you got a minimum of 5 categories wrong. If it's more than 5 and you're approaching 7 or 8 categories, that suggests there's a lack of knowledge. If it's 5, then you need to reinforce those 5 categories you got questions wrong in, and that's where you restudy those categories. If it's more than 5 categories, that suggests there's a lack of knowledge. If it's more than 5, that's over a third of the categories you got questions wrong in. And then I would restudy those categories, take mock tests to make sure those categories aren't coming up as weaknesses still, and then book another one. But I got a funny feeling, and let me know if I'm right or wrong. You're saying last week you missed it by 2. I got a funny feeling you would have booked a test or looked for another test already. I'm here live. Ask me what you need. Right, let me start the mock test because that's what you guys are here for. Personally, email, that's your best bet. Again, info@drivingtheoryuk.com. Say who it's from, because I'm getting a lot of messages, a lot of emails, and there's no names attached to those emails. I do not respond to emails with no names. I do not respond to text messages or WhatsApp with no names. I don't like talking to someone I don't know. So if you're taking the time out to send me a message, at least take the time out to put your name on there. So when I respond, I know who I'm responding to. I don't like responding just hey, hi, and all the rest of it. The amount of messages I'm getting with no names is ridiculous. Right, so let me start the mock test. You passed the third test, my voice. That's what I love to hear. When my voice is in my pupil's head, my job is done. Congratulations on passing. Right, so what do I need? Screen share. So those of you that are new, this is what we do. Read the question. If it's got images, take a look at the image because there's clues in the images sometimes. And then go to your options. Let's read the question first. What must you do at this junction? Take a look at the sign. There's obvious clues there. This is A, this is B, this is C, and then this is D. So please put the question number. If you think it's 1A, then that's what you want to put in your comment, 1A, because there's a delay between me and YouTube, you and YouTube. So I want to make sure we're always on the same question. So type it in the chat. I will. Oh, Newport. That's interesting. I don't know anyone in Newport. Well, it's nice of you, instructor, to recommend it. I appreciate that. Tell him thanks when you see him next, or her. Dolores, welcome to you. How are you? Diana. Oh, that's weird because you spell your name different on the boot camp. I sent an email yesterday morning on the access 21 days, but no response yet. You spell your name different. I didn't even know it was you that I was dealing with. I responded, believe it or not. I did respond yesterday. And I think the team sent another email out to say the email was sent on the 19th to the access to the boot camp. The extra, it's 28 days. We granted you guys 28 days access now, not 21. Because obviously with the delay, so out of courtesy, we've given you another extra week. And the team has sent you an email and they needed a response as soon as possible based on what they told me, because you have logged in. That's what it says on your account. And if it's not you, we need to, well, I won't say ban you, but we need to block it, because it said someone, hold on, let me just take a look at the notes. Yeah, contacted Diana yesterday with test date confirmed, and they need a response soon as possible, because someone's logged into your account, if it's not you, on the 21st of February. So you need to check that email and you need to respond as soon as possible. Otherwise, it's going to be blocked until we can sort that out. But they did respond to you. RJ, welcome. All right, so what are we on? Number 1 straight away. All right, let's find the ones. All B's. No one's saying anything different. Okay, let's take a look at B. What's B? Stop behind the line, then edge forward to see clearly. Edge forwards is what we, for driving lessons, we call that peep and creep. I will add on the real test, be very careful with the wording. One says, it's here as well. Stop behind the line is the correct one. So let me take that one now. And the other one on the real test that is very subtle, stop beyond the line and then edge forward to see clearly. So be very careful with the wording, because beyond is too far and obviously behind is what you're looking for. So always read the questions and read the answers carefully on the real test when you go, because they do make the questions and answers very, very similar. Lots of words. Right. You are carrying an 11-year-old child on the front seat of your car. They're under 1.35 meters tall. What seatbelt security must be in place? $45 out of 50, 61 on the hazard perception. Congratulations on passing. Marcus, got a test tomorrow. Wish you luck with that tomorrow. Again, if you've got any questions, please type in the chat. Good morning, Denise. How are you? Lewis, I'm glad the videos are helping. I keep on making the same mistake on the that's supposed to be contraflow. What mistakes are you making? If you can try to explain what mistakes, I'll maybe give you a tip to remember it. Doing lessons since January. Hopefully lessons are going well for you, Caroline. Kareem, hello. Do you know any person in Birmingham? I don't, unfortunately. Birmingham's well out my territory. I can drive already. There's driving and there's driving. You've got to drive the way the examiner wants you to, which is safety. What I would suggest, if you can drive already, obviously find an instructor. I'd book a 2-hour, not a 1 hour, book a 2-hour assessment, and then let the instructor pick out the good points you do, and then the things that needs changing for their driving test. That's what I'd recommend. But unfortunately, I'm sorry, I don't know anyone in Birmingham. Kareem's taking the test in 2 weeks. Well, you've got a couple of Sundays to join. And it's for anyone. If you have got your test coming up, while you're studying, write down any questions that you may have. Bring it to the live on a Sunday and let me deal with it. Driving test success. The app that I recommend for the theory test, it's got a driving section on there. I think that's extra now because they've made it bigger and larger. So you can still use the app for the driving side of it. Sandra, I'll come back to your question. Let me just deal with number 2 before I get carried away. all by myself. BMW, how are you? Right, that's interesting. I'm sure, unless I'm going blind. No, there's a couple of B's on there, but most of it's A's. Right, most of them are A's. A seems to be correct. It's got child in the question, it's got child in the answer, so there's a link. Someone went for B. They must be able to fasten the answer. No. Child restraint has to be the first option. That's what it's asking you for. If child restraint is not available, then an adult seatbelt must be used. So it would be C. You're stopped at the side of the road. What must you do if you'll be waiting there for some time? Sandra, could you throw more light on the different speed limits? There's only 2 speed limits that you need to worry about mainly. The basic one that you don't need to worry. Right, let me rephrase this. Right, built up area. How do you know what the speed limit is? Is the question. Is street lights 30 miles an hour? So that's the question. How would you know what a built up area speed limit is? It's 30 miles an hour. It's going to be street lights. In terms of the other speed limits, there's only 2 that you need to worry about, which is a national speed limit. So national for dual carriageway and motorway is 70 miles an hour. And for a single carriageway, it's 60 miles an hour. I always say in the boot camp, know what you can do as a driver, because you guys are taking car driving theory test. So know what you can do. So it's 70 for a dual carriageway motorway for a car driver, 60 for a single carriageway for a car driver. So when they ask the question of heavy goods and towing vehicle, you drop it by 10. So if you can do 70 on a motorway dual carriageway, questions asks heavy goods and towing vehicle, it's 60, drop it by 10. On a single carriageway, you can do 60, heavy goods towing vehicle is 50. But it's always easier to know what you can do. When the towing question and heavy goods come up, you just drop it by 10. So hopefully that clears it up for you. If it doesn't, let me know in the chat, and I will try to explain it a different way. What are we on 3? You got to top it so fast. D is the common answer. So let's take a look at D. D, switch off the, switch off the inside environment. You're about to reverse into a side road. What should you do if a pedestrian is waiting to cross behind you? Prila. I've not said that right. Got your test on the 12th of March. That's about 3 weeks away, give or take. So you got a bit of time. Hopefully the study's going really well for you. You say your confidence is growing, which is really good. Passed your test after failing 3 times last month. Congratulations on passing. Good morning. No problem, Lewis. Brighton. Well done, Israel. 45 out of 50, 61 has perception, so well done. Right, the one before. Right, A is overwhelming choice. Give way to pedestrians. Pedestrians technically have priority if they're waiting to cross, and it's safe for you to stop. You arrive at an incident. A pedestrian is bleeding heavily from a leg wound. The leg isn't broken, and there's nothing in the wound. How could you help? Ravi, how long is it taking to get practical test slot after passing theory? How long is it taking to get practical? The waiting time on average, depending on what part of the country, is anything from 4 to 6 months. Will you get one in 4 to 6 months? It's possible. Will you get one after 4 to 6 months? It's possible. Will you get one before 4 to 6 months? It's possible. It all depends on how you go about it and how often you are going to jump on the DVSA website to search for cancellations. So the average, the national average is 4 to 6 months, but you can get one if you're willing to put the work in terms of search, and search. If you're the only one you're talking about, done is the training platform. You've got the boot camp, which is what you did, and you've got access to where I've recorded every single question, every single answer. There's extra videos on there. There's PDFs on there. That's the platform I'm talking about, where you got 28 days access. As I mentioned, the email was sent out on Thursday the 19th, and the team has responded to you. They looked into your account and you have logged in. If you've logged in if you logged in, you should be able to see what you need to see because it's up there. I've uploaded everything myself on Wednesday night, hence why the email went out on Thursday. So if there's an issue, you need to respond to the email they sent you, and then answer whether it's you that's logged in, which means you won't get banned from it because they're going to block you at some point and then probably reset your password. So you need to respond to that email and explain the email what the problem is, and they can sort it out for you. But if it's something different that you're looking for, then let the team know. But the only thing you're getting is the boot camp that you did. And like I said, for access to the videos. So I'm trying to find the 5. So it's not like I'm blanking you guys. I'm just trying to find the 5. There's so many of you on it. Marcus, this is the same question. It's just worded slightly differently. But I'll come back to your comment in a minute, Marcus, just to make sure. Right, D seems to be the common answer. D is common answer. Apply firm pressure. Yeah, apply firm pressure over the wound because you're trying to stop the bleeding. On a vehicle, where would you find a catalytic converter? On a vehicle, where would you find a catalytic converter? All right, actually, that's a question from the real test. So, Marcus, sir, where trying to read this now, dyslexia. Sir, can you tell me if a motorcycle is injured and bleeding? 1, stop the bleeding, or put the pressure on the wound, which will be the answer. It's going to be put the pressure on the wound because you can't stop the bleeding. What you're trying to do is reduce the bleeding. That's why you put pressure over the wound. So it's going to be put pressure on the wound, not stop the bleeding. Nelson, you got your test on the 15th. I have some questions for you. Type it in the chat. If you haven't already, I'll pick it up. But if type the question in the chat, make sure it's Q semicolon. It's going to make, let me do that now and see if you have asked the question already. Because you may have asked it already. No, yeah, Nelson, I don't see it on there. You haven't put, if you have asked it, you haven't put a Q. Sandra has. Speed limit, I've done for you, Sandra, so that should be all right. And Sandra's got another one. Right, throw more light on the various carriageway and when to overtake and or use the right-hand lane in terms of single carriageway and dual carriageway. Right, when to overtake is when it's safe. That's the only thing I can give you with that one. Because they can ask a lot of questions, so it's going to depend on the scenario they give you. So I can't give you one common answer for that, but the answer has to be safe. In terms of right-hand lane, if it's a motorway or, no, what I'm talking about, or if it's a motorway, the right-hand lane's for overtaking only. And if it's a dual carriageway, the right-hand lane is used for overtaking or turning right. You can't turn right on the motorway. So let me just say that again. If it's on a motorway, the right-hand lane's only for overtaking. And if it's a dual carriageway, it's for overtaking and turning right. A single carriageway is only going to be when it's safe to overtake. So hopefully that answers those questions. And we are on number 6. So Nelson, like I said, if you type your questions in the chat with a Q semicolon, I'm going to be able to find it. And D is the common answer. So again, I've got to assume D is correct. Well, someone's gone for a C. Lavetta has gone for a C. It's D on exhaust. Catalytic converter is something that's in exhaust that cleans up the fumes, spits it out at the back of the car to make it cleaner. Someone went for C. What was C? In the fuel tank? No, it's going to be on the exhaust system. How should you drive or ride in areas with traffic calming measures? In other words, speed humps. When they say traffic calming, they're talking about speed humps. In this situation, there's 3 types of traffic calming measures, by the way. There's speed humps, width restrictions, and chicanes. Dan, I've seen your... I'll tell you what, Dan, what you want to do is send an email in, because you got the 27th for your test. I'm assuming you mean 27th of February, and I've got here the 13th of March, based on what they've emailed me. So what I would do, Dan, is, don't do this on the live, because it's two different situations anyway. Send an email in, explain that you can't log in onto the training platform, and if you said your test is confirmed for the 27th, I'm assuming it's 27th, because this email they sent me was earlier in the week, and I've got 13th of March for your test date. But I'm assuming they found you a earlier test date, which they haven't notified me with. So yeah, let's sort it out off platform. Just email me. Not email me. Email support at drivingferryuk.com, and they will sort you out. They will sort. If you do it today at before 2:00, they will try to get it sorted out before the day's finished. So you should have access to it by the day's finished, especially if your test is on the 27th. So I'm just trying to find the 7th. I'm trying to go through all these comments. The 7th. I'm trying to find the 7th. Question 7. So many. Sandra, you're welcome. Right, here we go. Right, so B seems to be the common answer, so I've got to assume that's correct. At a reduced speed, yep, traffic calming measures designed to keep you slower. How will you benefit from following the manufacturer service schedule for your vehicle? I can't, because I've never seen you drive before. So that's the answer to that question. But you're asking how many driving lessons can I take before I can apply for my driving? You can apply for your driving test as soon as you pass the theory test. You don't need to have driving lessons, but obviously you need to be ready to take that driving test. So the answer to your question is you can apply for your driving test straight away once you pass the theory test. That's the whole point of passing the theory test, is to be able to book a driving test. But you have to be ready for the driving test when it comes round. But if you've got some driving experience, it's similar to what, I can't remember the name of the person I said, but if you've got a driving experience, I would book a driving instructor, have a 2-hour assessment, let them drive around, they assess your driving, and they can give you the good points and then the points that need improving on, and then go from there. Some of you are saying, I'm not seeing anything. It's working now. If anything goes wrong, that's a YouTube thing, like it did this morning, because it's working. Everything's going out on my end. So, Sandra, what's your second question? I'm trying to find it. 8. 8H. Okay. What was it? B, common. Yes, by having it serviced on a regular basis, it's going to remain reliable. This junction, set this back up. This junction is controlled by traffic lights, has a marked area between the two stop line. What's this for? And again, like I said, if you look at the images first, then go to your options, there's a massive clue on that. Nelson, what's the difference between a main road and a side road? A main road is the main road, is what you drive on. And the side road needs to give way to the traffic on the main road. The tell you difference is when you're driving on the main road, technically there's no lines in front of you. And when you're on the side road, you come to what we call a give way line or a stop line. So a main road has priority, a side road doesn't. So that's the difference between the two. And what was the other question? What's the difference between a dual carriageway and a motorway? A dual carriageway, you can turn right on, and a motorway, you can keep going straight on. That's the difference between a dual and a motorway. Technically, they're the same thing in terms of speed, but the main difference is you can turn right on a dual carriageway, and you can't turn right on a motorway. There's one more question, Neferi. You're towing a caravan. What is the national speed limit? First of all, it can't be 55. It's impossible. It can't be 65. It's impossible. It depends on the road they're talking about. They have to give the name of the road, whether it's a dual carriageway or a single carriageway. If it's a single carriageway, it is 50. And if it's a dual carriageway, it is 60. But take the fives out. There's no such speed limits with fives in it. Go back to what I said earlier on. If you was here, you're taking a car test. You can do 70 miles an hour on a dual carriageway and 60 miles an hour on a single carriageway. Drop it by 10 for both roads. Right, A is the common answer, but there's a couple of D's on there as well. So let me look at what D is. I've got to assume A is correct. So let's tick that. What's D? To allow cyclists? No, to allow cyclists and pedestrians to cross the road together. First of all, there's no picture of a pedestrian. Like I said, look at the image. There's a big clue. It's got a cycle in it. So the ones with cyclists in there, you can tick as a possible. That hasn't got cyclists, get rid of it. That hasn't got cyclists, get rid of that. So this one has cyclists, this has cyclists, but this also has pedestrians in it. And there's no picture of pedestrian. So get rid of that. And that's how you work it out. So like I said, there's sometimes in the images, they got clues in it. So that's the reason why it's this one. And plus cyclist and pedestrian would be two can crossing. Two can cross at the same time. You're driving on a one-way street. What should you do if you realize you've taken the wrong route? Hey, and I got 42 on my theory test. How soon should I retake it? Again, I can't answer that because I don't know you. You got 42, which means you got 8 questions wrong. So what I would do is look at the categories you got the question wrong. I'll keep saying that because the failing the test is data. So you need to look at the data. So you got 8 questions wrong. That should suggest that you got 5 categories or more. If it's more than 5, you need to restudy those categories. How long would it take you to restudy those categories? That's to work based on your schedule. And then obviously you can work out from then when to take a test. But based on what you're giving me, I can't answer that. I don't know how much studying time you're going to put in. But 42 suggests there's a weakness in your knowledge if you've got 8 questions wrong. They have to, man. Otherwise, you won't know what the speed limit is. So you didn't read the question properly. They have to mention dual carriageway or a single carriageway. Otherwise, in saying that, hold on a minute. No, they have to. I'll tell you why. Because you've got 60. So let me try to find the other question. No, I'll tell you what. Again, using logic. Where are you gone? Where you gone? Where you gone? Where you gone? Right, there you go, Marcus. If they didn't mention it, it was dual or single. Right. If the options you gave, because I think it was a 2 5s that was in it, 60 and a 70. Using my method of working backwards, what it can't be, if they didn't mention it, the answer is 60. The reason for that, because they can't do 70 miles an hour. It's impossible. So based on the answers you gave, using the logic that I tend to say to my students to use, the 2 5s take out, I think it was 55 and 65. It's never going to be 5s. They don't do 5s. So it has to be 60 or 70 at the 2 options you gave. They cannot do 17 miles an hour. So based on that, it has to be 60. So hopefully that helps you out. So I'm using my own logic, my own advice. I'm assuming that question's from the real test as well. Again, Marcus, if you're still here, just put it in the chat, whether that's from the real theory test or you saw that on the app. But I've got a funny feeling that's from the real test. Right, there's a couple of A's. Nelson, you're welcome. There's a couple of A's and B's on that, but the B was the common answer. And like I said, I saw a couple of A's on there as well. It's a one-way street, so you can't turn around in the side road. So if you imagine you're on a one-way street, you go into the side road, you turn around, you're still going to be back on the one-way street. That's why it's got to find a different route. So when you find a different route, you're going back on the opposite side to come down. So turning around in the side road doesn't change anything. You're wasting your time doing that. Right, so why have red routes been introduced in major cities? Ziki, please can you explain the safe braking distance when traveling at 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70? My test is tomorrow, thanks. Right, first and foremost, I can explain that. And the simpler way to explain that, forget 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, because they don't do it anymore. That's the most important thing. There was a formula to it, but it's no point discussing that because they don't ask that question anymore. What you do need to know is the stopping distance when it's dry. This is 40 miles an hour or more. So it's going to be 2 seconds. They can ask these questions I'm about to give the answers to. So what's the stopping distance in dry conditions doing 40 miles an hour or more? It's 2 seconds. If it's wet, it's double or 4 seconds. And if it's ice or snow, it's up to 10 times longer. Repeat, dry, 40 miles an hour or more, 2 seconds stopping distance. If it's wet, it's double or 4 seconds. And if it's ice and snow, it's up to 10 times longer. But all of that 20, 30 stuff, don't need to know it. Save your brain power. And good luck with your test tomorrow, by the way. Louisa, you've put your number but no letter. Now you have. Yeah, I figured it's the real question. I totally forgot. The questions can be worded differently. So where I'm saying they will have to mention it, on the apps, they do mention it. Obviously on the real test, when I got my senses back, yeah, they're not going to mention it. But With the options they gave you, it's going to be 60, like I said, because the towing vehicle, based on the logic, the towing vehicle, heavy goods vehicle cannot do 70 miles. It's impossible for them to do 70. So that's the reason why it's going to be 60, because you take out the 2 5s. It's never going to be 5s. They always do a whole number. See, I do take my own advice as well, even though I give it. Yeah, of course you can. I may not be able to answer them if I don't have the options, because just because you type out the questions, it depends on the options they gave you. But you can type it out if you want, and I'll take a crack at it. But put a Q, semicolon, before you type it out, because I'm going to see it as a comment. Sorry, you guys are going for C. Yeah, to help traffic flow. Sorry. Brain dead then. You're driving in freezing conditions. What should you do as you approach a sharp bend? 28th is Saturday, isn't it? No, Friday. But first and foremost, H, thank you for the words, kind words, and wish you luck on Friday. Come back on Sunday, let us know how you got on. You texted Denise, you text me on WhatsApp, got no reply. If you didn't leave your name, you won't get a reply. The amount of messages I get, I don't like responding to people I don't know who I'm talking to. So if you haven't left the name, you won't get a response. Prof Kino, I wish you luck with that. Please come back and let us know. Again, if you've got any questions before we sign off, please ask away. Some of them are worded slightly differently, as Marcus demonstrated with that one. Like I said, on the apps, they will mention dual carriageway or motorway, so you know what's road you're driving on. Whereas what Marcus is saying, they did not mention the road, so there's a slight difference. And there's going to be some questions worded that you've never seen before. But the outcome is still going to be the same. It's still going to be safety or control. But it's not about how the question's worded. It's about whether you understand what they're asking. There's a difference. So I'm just trying to find the 12s. I'm not ignoring you guys. So many comments. Here we go. First one here. Right, B's a common answer. Slow down gently. Yes, ice conditions approaching a bend, slow down. And you should always slow down before a bend, whether it's icy or not. What must you have when you apply to renew your tax? I'm just going to shoot next door quickly. You answer that. Marcus. Any direction. The questions with that one is cyclist, horse rider. It goes for the horse. Sorry, it goes for the cyclist as well. A cyclist, horse rider signals left or right. Which direction can they go? It's any direction. They would take the safest route for them, not the same route as a car. There you go. Louise has answered it as well. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about understanding. You're saying this was in the fairy tale as well because they used the word already signaled. It makes no difference whether they're already signaled or about to signal before they signal. The answer's still going to be the same, going any direction. That's the reason why I say understand the question, because it doesn't make a difference how they word it. The answer's still going to be the same in terms of safety. Any direction, before, during, after the signal, makes no difference. H, if you're getting 49 and 50 on a regular basis, does it mean that you're ready for a test? Yes, it means you're ready. It doesn't mean you're going to pass it, but it means you're ready, because there's not much more you can do on the apps if you're getting those type of scores. It just means you know what the answers are for the app. But remember, when you go for the real test, it's going to be worded differently, and you may get questions that you've never seen before. I will also add, the app is designed to, the app only gives 770 something questions. I think it's 73 questions, 773 questions. When you go for the real test, they got a database of about 1,200 questions. So there's about 400 questions or so that you have never, ever, ever seen or been exposed to. But again, if you apply the logic and the safety factor or the control factor, you should end up passing it. If the question's blurry, that's YouTube. Like I said, there was a problem with YouTube this morning because it's clear. I can see what's going on. And I've got the live stream on behind me. So it's either your internet or that's YouTube. But at the moment, it's going out clear on my side. And I've got the live on behind me and it's crystal clear. Right, C is common, but a couple of you have gone for a D. So I'm going to see what D is. Unfortunately, I can't go back to the app. Allow me to go back. What's C's common answer? Valid insurance. And some went for a D. A valid driving license. So what's the question? What must you have when you apply to renew your vehicle tax? Right, yeah, it's gonna, based on the options, it's gonna be your insurance. If insurance is not there, because they can remove this one, and it's gonna be MOT, because you need an MOT first, then your insurance, and then you can renew the tax on your vehicle. It's in that order. You don't need a driver license for that. For how long is an MOT certificate, talking about MOTs, for how long is an MOT certificate normally valid for? No problem, you are welcome. Marcus, you are welcome. Please repeat the horse rider answer you just gave. Yes, Catherine, the question is a horse rider signals left. Right, let me start again. A horse rider or cyclist, because it's the same, signals left or right, which direction can they go? And the answer is any direction. They would choose the safest route for them, but not the same route as a car. A car would take the right-hand lane if it signals right, and if it signals left or going straight, it takes the left-hand lane. But a cyclist horse rider would choose what's safest for them. Depends what app you're using, I suppose. The app that I'm using is 700 because I've filmed all of them. And it's 770. I'm sure it's 774 questions. But it's irrelevant anyway, because you're still going to get more questions on the real test itself. I'm just glad you're here as night shift. If you're tired, chill. You don't have to answer it. Sorry, you don't have to type the answer in. Just play along at home. Keep the scores to yourself. But I'm glad you're here. Hopefully after the live, you can go and get some sleep from your night shift. I appreciate you being here from the night shift, though. Yeah, MOT, insurance, and tax. That's dedication, though. Night shift and you're jumping on the live. Appreciate that. Right, again, these ones are B's and D's. D's the common answer, but some of you are still going for B. So that's what D is. D, 1 year after the date was issued, seems correct. And what was the other one? B's. Right. The correct answer is this one, 1 year after the date. They can use 12 months, which is the same thing, 12 months, 1 year. That's why I said understand it. So when they word it differently, it doesn't make a difference. 3 years after the date was issued is for new cars. So if you buy a brand new car registered in 2025, for example, you won't need one for 3 years because it's brand new. But once the car gets to 3 years or older, you're going to need one every year. I gave this answer earlier on. Which road user benefits from toucan crossing? It's really worded weirdly. What is the head restraint should be? That's worded weirdly. Where should the head restraint be? Lowest, higher, both? And there was one option I couldn't remember. It's going to be the option you can't remember because it's not the lowest, it's not the highest, it can't be both because you can't be high and low. So the option that you can't remember is going to be that one. The headrest should be behind your heads, or the air should be in the middle of the headrest. That's how we adjust it in the car for driving lessons. What option they would give you, it would depend how they want to word it. But it's not going to be the lowest, it's not going to be the highest, and it can't be both. So it's going to be the option you cannot remember. Ideally, the headrest should be directly behind your head. And just in case they ask it, what's it for? It's to stop you from getting neck injuries. I've explained this one already. What does want? Right, let me come back to that. So let me just not keep people waiting because I've explained it already. D is the overwhelming choice. Yeah, toucan cross, cyclists and pedestrians. Mentioned that earlier on, one with the cycle lane. Where should you take particular care to look for motorcyclists and pedestrians? Right, Zeki wanted to ask, does motorway and dual carriageway have the same limit for a car and towing? Yes, the answer is yes, in simple terms. The speed limit for, like I said before, for a car drive, you're taking a car theory test, so you should be looking at the answers from a car driver's point of view. So the speed limit for a dual carriageway and a motorway for a car is 70 miles an hour. When they ask the question about towing vehicle and heavy goods vehicle, it is 60 miles an hour. You just drop it by 10. On a single carriageway, it's 60 for a car, and then you drop it by 10 for heavy goods and towing to 50. So hopefully that answers that. But again, break it down in simple terms. Know what you can do as a car driver. And then when the heavy goods vehicle and towing vehicle comes up, you just drop it by 10. It's less numbers to remember, technically. Yarden, it's good to see you here. Can you go back to me? No, unfortunately I can't, because I do the boot camps now on a weekday, 4:30. That's why I do a Sunday. So unfortunately that's not an option for me anymore. I don't know why you're apologizing, but it's okay. Right, level with the eye. So your eyes should be level. Technically, what it should be, your eyes should be level with, so in the middle of the headrest. That's how we set it up in the car. So if that's the option they're giving you, how they want to wear it with the eye, that's the answer you want to go for. But like I said, on logic, it can't be high, it can't be low, and it can't be both, because you can't be high and low at the same time. Then is if you can't see it on your end, because like I said, I can see what's going on live in front of me and it's crystal clear. And the one behind me, again, is crystal clear. Just to make sure, is anyone else struggling to see the image? Is it blurry for you in the image? Because if it is blurry for other people, then that's a YouTube thing. It's not on my end. So if it's blurry for you guys, just type blurry in the chat so I know it's a common issue, not just Denny's problem. Junctions is common, zebra, one way, true country. Yep, junctions on that one because the junctions are harder to see. You're about to drive home. What should you do if you feel very tired and have a severe headache? James, hello, welcome. Marcus, you are welcome. I'm glad you can remember some of those questions, to be honest. Yeah, Denise, they're saying it's clear for them, so it's got to be on your side. Yeah, everyone's saying it's clear. Again, A is overwhelming choice. Yeah, it's going to be waiting till you're fit before driving. You should never drive when you're tired, especially after being a new driver, and especially when you've got a headache. What should you do when you see an older person about to cross the road? Sorry, I've got to come back to this one. I appreciate her being there. You can watch the replay. It goes up. As soon as this finished, YouTube processes it and leaves it up. I don't take them down. So you can watch the replay. Go and get some sleep. As much as you shouldn't drive when you're tired, maybe you shouldn't study when you're tired either. But I appreciate you being here. Go and get some sleep. Watch the replay. Zahid, welcome. A is comment. Be careful. Yeah. Apparently, when you get to a certain age, speed of judgment of speed and slow reactions. And that's the reason why you slow down. Why should you make sure that your indicators are cancelled after turning at a junction? Yes, technically everything is coming from the app, but there's again worded slightly differently. They're also, like I said, they're testing your knowledge, not testing your memory. Because what some of you are still doing is memorizing the questions and the answers. So when you go in there and it's worded differently, it throws the brain off. That's why I say understand it. So don't make a difference how they word it, because the understanding's there. You'll always get to the correct answer. Understanding is so important for the theory test. And I also will repeat, you are going to use this knowledge for your driving test. Well, there's a couple of B's and D's on there, but B's the common answer, but there's a couple of D's on there, which okay, that's fine. But as long as you are taking the information in and not falling asleep in between the questions. All right, let me deal with the B's first, because the B's common answer, I think it was. So let's tick that. Yeah, not to mislead. And for those of you that went for D, to avoid dazzling, you can't dazzle people with your indicators. You only can dazzle with your main lights, i.e. full beam, and your fog lights. The indicators aren't bright enough to dazzle. You're joining a motorway from a slip road. How should you deal with the traffic already on the motorway? Someone went for a C on the last one. I didn't see this until just now, but I can't go back. A is the common answer. Oh, someone's gone for a B. Right, A. Match your speed to traffic in the left-hand lane and filter into a safe gap. It's got the keyword safe in the answer, so you have to list it as a possible. And someone went for, I think it was a B. Carry on the long. First of all, this is dangerous. This is what I'm trying to say. The theory test is about safety and control. If it's got safety, safely in the answer, you have to shortlist as a possible. It doesn't always work, which I'm going to show you in a minute. So if you go to this one, use a slip road to accelerate until you're moving much faster than the motorway traffic. Has got safe in that, and that's dangerous in itself. So that's got safe in it, that's got safe in it, and that's got safe in it. So what you want to do now is break it down to see which one works out to be safer, or if you want to work backwards, work out which one is unsafe, even though it's got safe in it. So if you start with D, stop at the end of the slip road and look for a safe gap. You can't stop on the motorway technically. So that's dangerous in itself. So that's why that doesn't work. Carry along the hard shoulder. You don't have to go any further. You can't drive in the hard shoulder. It's for emergencies only. So you got rid of these two. That one is dangerous in itself. So by default, you're left with the correct answer anyway. And that's how you break it down. If you don't know what the answer is, that's how you break it down. But like I said, if it's got safe in it, shortlist it, flag it, move on, and then come back and break it down like I just showed you. For those of you that was here at the beginning, I did say your 50 questions is made up of your 14 categories. This is a 20 question mock test. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They gave me 9 categories out of 14 for a 20 question mock test. Breaking it down, hazard and awareness 4, safety in your vehicle 5, vulnerable road users 4, incident, accidents and emergencies 1, safety margins 1, documents 2, rules of the road 1, road and traffic signs 1, and motorway rules 1. That's how this was made up. You take another one of these and it's going to be a different set of categories. And that's what I'm trying to say. When you go for your real test, you don't know how it's going to be made up of the 14 categories. To be honest, with the 50 questions, you will get a question from each category. It's just a case of how many you get from that particular category. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. And that's why I keep saying study the categories and then go off and do mock tests. But you have to do what's best for you. Congratulations on passing. And thank you for coming and let me know how you got on. Yeah, here's another one. Secretly watching. Well, thank you first and foremost for breaking your silence and saying that you've passed your test and come in and let us know how you got on. Right. I'm going to do a hazard perception demonstration, but let me just make sure I've not missed too many of your questions, because some of you are not typing the cues in there. I don't think I showed this one. I think I did. But congratulations again. Can't congratulate you guys too many times on passing. I think I got most of them right. So hazard perception. No problem. Have a pleasant sleep. Hopefully you get enough rest. Right, so let me just get my iPad out with the hazard perception. Right, hazard perception, just in case you don't know, is 14 videos. I know I mentioned it earlier on. 13 of them have single hazards. One of them's got a double where you score a maximum of 10. Ideally, you want a 7 or an 8 on your double, just in case you get a couple of 1s and 2s or maybe a 0. That brings the average up. You need to average at least a 3 across the board once you click finish on the videos. If your average works out to be less than 3, it's going to be a fail with that. You're looking, there's 2 types of hazards on the video. There's one, what they call developing, and one is potential. Potential, it could have been a problem, but it wasn't. And the developing one started off looking like a problem and it turned into a problem where you have to slow down or change direction. That click you are doing represents you checking the mirrors. So let me just quickly show you on the test sheet. So, right, that's the driving test report sheet. So pass or fail your driving test. You're going to get a copy of this, which is emailed to you about 5 to 10 minutes after your driving test is finished. If you look at box 17, I'll just put a mark in there so you can see what I'm talking about. Traffic lights, that's your that's your theory test right there. That's your blue circles, red circles, red triangles. In terms of road signs, road markings, traffic lights, traffic controllers, other road users. That's your theory test right there. He knows you passed the theory test, so he's not asking any questions. If you're not dealing with those situations in the right manner, he's going to mark it in a relevant box. So that's why I say you need to understand the theory, because you are going to use it for your driving test. But for your hazard perception, you're looking at box 14. So you are checking your mirrors before you signal, change your direction, and change your speed. On the videos, they don't deal with signals because you can't see the car signaling. They're going to deal with you slowing down or changing directions. If your car in the video is slowing down for any reason or changing direction, you should be clicking, i.e. register the red flag, and that's you checking the mirrors if you're driving live in the videos. As you can see from box 14, the mirrors is a massive part of your driving test. If your mirrors are weak, the chances of you passing your test is going to be slim. Yes, the apps are real life clips, combination of real life and CGIs. When you go for your real test, it's CGIs. They're all CGIs. There's no real life clips. It's all crystal clear. It's on a bigger screen. Based on the feedback we get from our students, it's slightly slower than the apps itself. What you want to do is, when you see a problem, is do a 2-click method. You can do 3. I teach 2, but you can add a 3 into it if you want to be safe, if you like. And what you do, but what I mean by a 2-click method, you see the problem, you click, and then you count 1, 2, literally that speed. You literally go 1, 2, and you click again. Don't go click, click, as in click 1, 2, click. Because if the first one's too early, the second one could be too early. So it's literally just click as soon as you see a problem, 1, 2, and you click again. As weird, I say this every single week, as weird as it sounds, this is how you have to picture it. It's not about you seeing the hazard itself. It's about you getting a score, because you can see the hazard all day long. If it doesn't register a score, it means nothing. So you have to get a score. That's the reason why you go for 2 clicks. So I'm going to do a demonstration, and I'm going to try to click too early to show you what I'm talking about. So if you've got any questions, type it in. Let me just make sure there's nothing there. I would practice the real life clips as well, H. The reason being, because if you can see the real life clips and get a decent score, when you go for the real test, it's going to be a lot easier. It's like when I teach someone driving at night. When they come to driving in the daytime, their hazard perception is spot on, because they're looking a lot harder at night. They see things a lot harder. So they're training themselves to look for more things at night. So in the daytime, they spot things really quickly. So I would still suggest you do real life clips, because it can help you improve what hazards are. That's the only thing I would say with it. But again, you have to do you. You know you, do you. But my advice is don't ignore the real life clips. Practice is practice. Anyway, so let me just get the hazard perception up. So what I'm going to do, like I said, I'm going to try to mess up on one, as in clicking too early. And then you can see what I mean by doing 2 clicks. What am I looking for? iPad. Right. So hopefully you guys can see my iPad screen, because I can see what's going out. So speed limits. I don't want to speed up if someone's about to overtake me and fill the space. And when you're watching a video, you should be scanning the road from left to right, right to left. Because that's where road signs are on the pavement. You shouldn't just be watching the silver car in front of you. You should be looking at the side. So like blue shop, if there's a car or bike coming out, I could click on that. But because there's nothing there, there's nothing for me to swerve for. So looking ahead, I've got 2 black and white posts, suggest zebra crossing, so I'm going to click. See if anyone's going to cross, the woman in the blonde hair. So that's the one that's caused me to slow down. That's the one I'm going to get marked on. Always keep going just in case it's your double one. So this is a real life clip, harder to see. 4 out of 5. Let me just show you that so I'm not cheating. 4 out of 5. Review it back. I'm just going to speed it up to save the process. Right, there's my first click for the black and white pose. That's what I called. There's my second click for the black and white pose. Now, if you take a look, both of those are outside of the 5. If I left it like that, it's a 0. That's what I'm saying. It's not about you seeing it. It's about getting a score. So what I did was call a black and white pose. Then I looked to see if anyone's going to cross. So the woman in the blonde hair, which is there. And the second click for the woman. And I got a 4 out of 5. And that's the reason why I say do not just click the once. It makes no sense because it's about you getting a score. As I said, I've seen a problem. I clicked on the problem, but I got a 0 for the first 2 clicks. But my second set of 2s are giving me a 4. Take note, the second clicks landed in a 3. Just show you there, it's landed in a 3. They'll always give you the highest mark. So there's no benefit in clicking once. None whatsoever. Let me just see if there's any comments. 40 out of 50, 52. Congratulations on passing, Yemi. Appreciate you coming to let me know. A good driving lesson. Yeah, I think you mean driving instructor. You didn't even put where you live. Oh, right, here we go. South Tottenham. Oh, South Tottenham. And you know how to drive already. Send me an email because you're in the area that I teach. Send me an email and I'll see if I can try to hook up with anyone who's available. If you're traveling on the dual carriage where the lane is closed, what would you do? This was in the ferry, can't remember the options. If the lane is closed that you're in, you're going to change lanes nice and early. So it doesn't say whether it's you're in the lane that's closed or another lane's closed off. If it's the lane you're in, you're going to change lanes nice and early. If it's a different lane, you're going to check your mirrors to make sure no one's going to cut you up last minute. Pandy, how many clicks you have to? Right, first of all, sorry, I don't know how many clicks you got. Every video is different. Secondly, my answer to someone who asks how many clicks is you're going into the hazard perception in the wrong mindset. If you are going in worrying about how many times you're going to click or how many clicks you're allowed, that's the wrong mindset. My experience, when someone does that, they fail it because you're worried about how many clicks you're going to do. If you click on things that exist, then the amount of clicks is irrelevant because you should never be clicking too many times. But obviously, if you don't know what you're clicking on, then you're going to click on random stuff, then yeah, it's going to add up. So the amount of clicks you had, because all right, let's just say, for example, you got 20 clicks. Do you need to be using 20 clicks? The answer is no, because it's never going to show you a video that's going to have 20 hazards on there. So just because you've got the amount of clicks, it doesn't mean say you need to use it. And that's the wrong mindset to have. You should be going in there to say, right, I'm going to click on things that exist. And that takes care of that, end of. Plus you're wasting brain power worrying about how many clicks when you're going for the real test. Nerves and adrenaline drains you mentally. So don't think about things you don't need to think about. Hopefully that answers that. So you need to, you need to click it 3 instead of 2. No, I clicked twice. Let me just show you. I still got the video up. Let me just quickly show you. You can do a 3-click method. All it is just click once, 1, 2, click, 1, 2, and do that. I don't teach that, but you can do that if you so wish. There's always different ways of doing stuff. If you're I don't know if you mean, I just saw the video. I don't know if you mean, let me just quickly go back. I don't know if you mean this as my first set, and then this as my second set, and then this as my third set. I don't know if you mean that. It just so happened there's only 3 hazards on the video that I saw that I thought was worth clicking. That's just a coincidence, if that's what you're talking about. But like I said to Pandy, I'm just clicking on things that I think is a problem. I'm not counting my clicks. Happiness, welcome. I was supposed to take my test on the 26th, but I had to push forward. I'm assuming you mean back. The 26th will be 3 days from now, probably Wednesday. So I'm assuming you mean push back. So Alpha's passed his test. Congratulations. Don't think I'm doing that. I'm hoping that you pushed it back already, because if you're tested on the 26th, it's 3 working days. And Monday's the 24th. So I'm hoping that you've pushed it back already. Otherwise, you're going to lose your test fee. No problem, Marcus. No, Pandy, you can't get 2. And again, that's the wrong mindset. Why are you aiming for... I know you're not deliberately aiming for 2, but I work on mindset. And the stuff that you're saying, which is common that most people say, is the wrong mindset. You're saying, can I get 2 points on all of the clips? Why would you be aiming for 2? You want to aim for the highest mark possible. And the answer to your question is no. The minimum you have to get on average is 3. That's the minimum on average. You can get 2s, you can get 1s on some of the videos, but it means you have to get 4s and 5s on most of them to bring the average up. You have to get a nice 8 or 9 to bring on your double to bring the average up. But you should not be aiming for 2. You should be aiming for the highest mark possible. That way, if you fall short, you fall over the line. If you're aiming for the bare minimum, you fall behind the line. So for example, your 50 questions, you need 43 to pass. If you aim for 43 and you just make a silly mistake by click, you knew the answer, but you just clicked the wrong answer by mistake, you now got 42, you failed. If you aim for 50 and you make a silly mistake, you've got 49, 48, 47, you've got a lot of scope to play around with. But if you're aiming for 2, you're going to fail anyway, that's a low mark. But if you aim for 3, which is the lowest mark possible, you're probably going to fail. No, like I said, you go for 2 clicks per problem. So I click 2 for the zigzags, the black and white poles, and then I clicked again for the woman. When I'm driving in real life, I will look out for the zebra crossing first. That's just the way I drive. So I'm looking for the zebra crossing, which is the zigzags. That's what I clicked there. And then I will scan to see if anyone's looking to cross. And that's when I saw the woman here. So I'm clicking the way I drive. You guys may not have driving experience, so you're looking for the problem. So I look for zebra crossings first, then pedestrians afterwards. But that's the way I drive. That's the way I teach. But like I said, if you haven't got driving experience, you've got to do what works for you on the videos. All right, let me do another demonstration. And let me do a real life one. Let me come out of that so you're not seeing me scroll all the way through. CGI. All right, hopefully this has got some problems on there. iPad. Right, so again, I'm scanning from pavement to pavement or pavement to my left, grass verge on my right. Nothing is going on, nothing for me to click on. And you're looking as far down as you can see. So the pedestrian walking in the road, I'll click on that because it's a potential problem. Even though they're far away. The side roads to my left and side road to my right, there's nothing coming out of them. Don't need to click. Side road to my left, Look in the window for reflection of a car coming towards me. There's a van in the window. That's a milk float. And I'll show you a little trick with that later on when I replay it back. You can look into the bend. Again, there's nothing going on for me to click on. So at the moment, I've only got 4 clicks to show for it. So again, show you I'm not cheating, 5 out of 5. And this goes back to what Pandy's saying about how many clicks. Don't count your clicks, because on this particular video itself, there's only 2 hazards in total. So I only need to click 4 times. So why am I going to be using up any clicks? So if they gave me, let me just pause it here. If they gave me 10 clicks per video, if it was possible to know how many clicks per video, which you don't, then I'm worrying about counting 10 clicks to use my 10 clicks up. What you just want to do is click on things that you see that's worth clicking on, and that takes care of itself. Do not go counting how many clicks you are allowed. It doesn't make sense. So, like I said, pedestrian, even though they're far away, it's still potential. So I'm going to speed it up. Now, what I'm saying to you about looking in the side road, I don't know if you can see it on the video. Right there. In the window, there's a reflection. When you're driving, that's what you want to be doing. This is experience, by the way. And on driving lessons, if your instructor's good enough to teach you all of this, you look in the window so I can see the reflection of the milk float coming. That's the reason why I clicked shortly after. There you go. So you probably can't see it on your screen, but if you watch it back on the TV, for example, YouTube put on the TV and forward it very slowly, you would be able to see the reflection of the milk float in the window right there. And there's my 2 clicks. So I only needed 4 clicks on that video alone. Hopefully that makes sense. Let me just see if you guys are commenting on that. Yeah, it's pushed back, but hopefully you've done it already. Like I said, it's 3 working days before the cancellation date. My email address is info@drivingtheoryuk.com. info@drivingtheoryuk.com. If you can't remember that, then it's on the YouTube channel. No problem, Portia. Right, let me do another one for you guys. Hopefully I can choose one that's got a bit more action on it. I think most of the real life ones I got the let's go back to real life. Well, I think this may have a bit of action on it. Let me go back to this. Get rid of this. So look ahead. Got a car parked up on the left, but no indicates people crossing the road. Brake lights, so if he's slowing down, I may need to slow down. Again, try to look where the bus is on the left as well. Got the van parked up on the right. Someone's crossing in the road. The learner's looking to turn. The learner's stalled in the road. And what was that one? Again, 5 out of 5. This one was a lot more clicks because there was more going on. So I mentioned the learner. So I've actually got 4 clicks in there in that box. And it gave me the highest mark. So let me just break it down for you why I've got 4 clicks. Because I saw the learner with the indicator on. So there's my click. I always go for 2 clicks. And then the learner's starting to turn. So you got to assume he's not going to get out of the way, which it didn't. And that's my another 2 clicks. So 4 clicks in the one box for the same situation. But as I go back, I use Pandy because she's the one that asked the questions. Let me just show you again. Let's count the clicks on this one. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. This one's got 12 clicks. The other one previously, I think it was 4 clicks. As I said, don't count your clicks. It doesn't matter. As long as you click on things that exist, it's never going to add up to too many. It's impossible. But if you start counting your clicks, you're going to start to think, I've got 10, I'm going to use 10. If the hazard's near the end of the video and you've counted 10 because you think you've got 10, you're not going to click because you're going to think you clicked too many times, which means you're going to miss the problem. I repeat, don't count your clicks. It's a waste of time. Right, is there any questions on that? Let's give you a couple more seconds. I know there's a delay with YouTube. Otherwise, we'll end the stream there. Hopefully you guys understand that now better. See a problem, click 1, 2, click again. Do not worry about how many clicks you're allowed because that's not important. Don't count your clicks because that's not important. What's more important is you focusing and getting a score. And Pandy, more than 2 is what you're looking at. Just go for 5. And like I said, if you fall short, you're still going to pass anyway. I would also suggest as well, if you're not hitting 5s out of 5s on your videos, review all of them. Even if you got 4 out of 5, still review it back, just like I did. Just go on to review, boom, and see where you can improve. The theory test is always about improving. Alicia, hopefully you will. Come back next week, let us know. But again, read the questions very, very carefully. Read the answers very carefully. Any ones that you're not sure of, flag it, move on, and then go back to the flagged ones and then take your time that you've got remaining. Don't stress over it while you're going through it. Just literally flag anything you're not sure of and then go back to the ones you flagged. And if you still don't know what the answer is when you go back, work backwards, just like I showed you. If you was here when we was doing the mock test, work out what it can't be. And then you get rid of, there's always one stupid answer on there anyway. So you get rid of the stupid one. Now you're left with 1 in 3 chance of being correct. And sometimes, like I said, by default, when we've done the mock test, there's 3 stupid answers technically, and you're left with the correct answer by default. But just take your time. If you think you are getting stressed, take a step back from the computer, just literally lean back and just breathe. It's really important. It sounds stupid, but take deep breaths. The more oxygen you can give the brain, it will start to think clearer. You guys will still try to work through panic, and that's not what you want to do. You want to try and calm yourself down. You've got 57 minutes, which is more than enough time to take the test, especially if you've been studying for it. Because most of the answers you come across, you would have probably got a vague idea what the answer is anyway. Right, is there any last minute questions you guys want to ask? I'll give you a couple of minutes because I know there's the delay and the lag between YouTube and me. But hopefully with the hazard perception, you guys are starting to understand. Don't overthink it. Just literally problem click, as simple as that. And always review it back. Same thing with your questions. Review it back. Some of you just literally look at the answer. I got it wrong. Look at what the right answer is. Right, I remember that for next time. It's not about remembering. It's about understanding. Because the more you understand, when they reword the question, you're going to still understand it anyway. Memorizing stuff is, memorizing the theory is not a good thing to do. And as I mentioned earlier on as well, there's nothing wrong with using Google and AI. Ask the question, why is the answer such and such, and they can break it down for you. It's not cheating. Um, 40 out of 50, Mr. 50 by 2. Look, 63 out of 75. In a test situation, that's really, really, really a high score. So congratulations on passing. Sunshine, you are welcome. Right, I don't see any questions coming through. So I want to thank each and every one of you for turning up to the live, especially the second one, because of YouTube messing up the stream for whatever reason. So thank you for finding the second stream and joining and make it an enjoyable Sunday. Marcus, I wish you a lot of luck with that tomorrow. Break it down, think about it logically, like I did with the 65s or whatever it was. Break it down logically, but I wish you a lot of luck with that. Please come back next week and let me know how you got on. Hopefully it's good news. Marissa, thank you. And Shamila, thank you as well. So you guys have a good Sunday. Whatever you decide to do, enjoy, relax, stay safe. And hopefully I'll see you. Yes, they supply headphones. But one thing with that, if you're going to use headphones on the day, I would suggest you get used to using it at home. So you can hook up your headphones to your app. It's got voiceover on in the settings. I wouldn't change what I do at home when you go there on the day, if that makes sense. If you're not used to using headphones, don't try to use headphones. It changes the experience. So get some practice at home with it as well. But there's supply headphones there so you can use it. All right. Yeah, enjoy your Sunday. Stay safe. And hopefully I'll see you guys next week.